Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Acing AP Exams Live. I'm your host, Dr. Joe Sebastian. It is Wednesday night, 7 o'clock Eastern Time, and we are halfway through the month of October, and we are, in the thick of it, I would say, in terms of the school year. Very, very interesting dynamics starting to form, and of course, getting really busy with AP exams. In terms of overall course structure and starting to look at, getting into the winter season, and then of course will be test prep season. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. My name is Dr. Joe Sebastian. I am the host of Acing AP Exams Live and the founder of the Facebook group Acing AP Exams, where we help students ace their AP exams, but we also help parents of high school students help their students earn college credit and save thousands of dollars on tuition by acing their exams. And so tonight's live stream, we're going to actually talk about and discuss a little bit in detail on the flaws in the current AP teaching methods, because there are a lot, and I've seen a lot across the country in the students that we've tutored, and of course the teachers that I observed. And we're going to kind of go into, firsthand experience of what works and what doesn't work when it comes to regarding AP exams. So whether you're a parent of a struggling student with the current AP system, or you're a student yourself wondering why certain things aren't clicking, this discussion is for you. Our goal is to do a deep dive into the challenges and provide practical solutions for improving AP teaching methods to better prepare students for success. So if you're unfortunately not one of those in terms of getting good teaching, we can show you some strategies on how to work through that and of course improve your scores. So if you're ready, I'm ready. Give us a like, give us a share, drop a comment right now in the Facebook group or on YouTube, what topic you're excited to see come up and what you might need additional help and support for, and we'll get to you. I want to draw attention to this post that we did on Tuesday. So we actually created a guide for our parents for college admissions courses. Just give us a little information, and when you get into it, share this tab instead. This is the ultimate guide. We just rebranded this for our high school parents. What's cool is the 9 weeks are coming to a close or may have closed already, and there might be parent-teacher conferences, or if you're a parent of a struggling student and you want to have deeper conversations with the teacher on how best to support your child, these are a guide for you to better support asking those questions. We work with a lot of new parents to AP, so we want to make sure that you have the support with these questions. So they're broken down. There's about, I think, 10 different topics and question starters that you can ask. And then there's also basically what we're going to talk about tonight: the flaws in the current AP teaching method, how we can support teachers, helping improve some equity there, rethinking AP teaching, just a little bit of information. So this guide altogether, we'll drop it again on Friday, but if you want it, just type guide and we'll get it to you free, of course. So this is going to be available starting tonight. That we'll share the link with you, and hopefully that can help at least start the conversation. So if you do have questions regarding what we're going to discuss tonight, be sure to drop them in the comments and we'll get to them. We were going to have a panel of teachers, but we felt it best to push it back to the end of the month. We'll have a live discussion with some other AP teachers, but I'm going to talk about first just some overview of the flaws in the AP teaching method. So some questions that come to mind, I get this all the time in terms of, we compare a couple different advanced courses. What do you see as the biggest flaws in the way the AP courses are currently taught, either in subject area or across the board? And is the curriculum too rigid? Does it allow for flexibility? What are the College Board guidelines? So in summary, the AP exams are taught differently in every subject. However, they are moving to a more cohesive structure in that most of the revisions from 2018 and the current revisions that are in place and going on, i.e., AP Psychology and a couple other courses, are moving towards more skill-based exam questions, which means that there is no direct answer to these questions. So students have to apply their knowledge and understanding of the topic and use critical thinking skills to answer the questions effectively. The problem is there's a gap in there, and the current teaching practices are flawed because many teachers are still just teaching the content to get through the content to make sure that they cover the curriculum. If you've ever looked at a subject guide, if you ever looked at the course exam description, these are very comprehensive. School is limited in time. And so what ends up happening is there's a rush through content without a deeper level of understanding. And so when that happens, students are going to have gaps in their learning. So the biggest flaw is that I think AP is too broad-based in terms of content comprehensive. In comparison to the IB curriculum, where you go much deeper on certain topics, they really allow time to develop the skills. So that brings us to the second point of like that pressure to cover content quickly. Many students complain about the sheer volume of content that needs to be covered in AP courses, and it kind of creates this race against the clock, if you will, in the teacher's mindset. And so that's going to impact students' understanding and retention of the material. So some strategies we have are really, really good, consistent note-taking and really good reflecting and reviewing of their notes, because they are going to move fast, and the next time you might see it will be in preparation for the AP exam. So the third flaw we often see is the overemphasis on memorization versus critical thinking. On the surface, it seems like AP courses and a lot of parents we talk to put a little bit too much emphasis on rote memorization rather than critical thinking and problem solving. And that is not going to serve your child well. To get a good grade in the AP class for the sake of getting a good grade, in despite of actually learning the processes necessary to be successful, that is not a good place to be. And what I mean by that is, in the end, if you're just pursuing the grade for the sake of pursuing the grade and your child does not do well on the AP exam, the GPA really doesn't matter in that aspect of college admissions, because what it's showing is that you took a class, but when challenged by the standardized exam, your child did not do as good as their peers. So that's why I say the grade sometimes is a false flag, because the grade can give a false sense of security to a lot of parents and to a lot of students that they're doing well. Most grades are not based on the AP standards. They're based on arbitrary metrics. So that, any questions on that? Because that's an important point to drive home, that your grade at this point doesn't matter. That if you do have a student that's struggling grade wise, maybe not getting an A, that's not the end of the world. That means that there's opportunities there for growth, and something that we can kind of help as well along the way. The fourth problem we see is access to AP courses. So one other major concern is AP course offerings and resources. It's not consistent. It varies widely from state to state. I have my friends in Georgia, which we have many Southern students in our programs. In Georgia and Florida, a lot of them allow students only to take AP Human Geography their freshman year. Many schools limit the amount of APs students take their underclassmen year. And what ends up happening is students then pile up on AP classes their juniors and senior year, which junior year is probably the most stressful, because that's the one that matters to get into college. And so, but some schools don't offer it at all. Some schools only offer the opportunities as upperclassmen. What do I think is right and wrong is irrelevant. It's just that there's not consistency in what is offered from state to state. And that obviously creates different levels of students either being exposed to APs early or not. So the solution there is making sure our kids have a really solid pathway why they're taking the AP exams, and it is a road to get to college. Because if your child is college bound, they should be taking at least a few AP courses during their tenure in high school. Okay, so another flaw we see is teaching to the test versus teaching for understanding. Many teachers feel pressured to just teach to the test to ensure their students perform well. So just covering the basic content on the AP exam. And it's hard to strike a balance between the exam and ensuring that they truly understand the subject matter. It is virtually impossible to go in depth on AP history, particularly those subjects, because of the amount of volume you have to cover. The problem I have with the practices is that how do we then turn around and actually teach the strategies for the writing and the critical thinking? If your class looks like this, if it's just lecture-based instruction, go home and read, come in, take a quick quiz, repeat. That is covering the content. That is not truly trying to seek to understand the content. So my question would be, where are students allowed to practice the skills necessary to be successful? So there has to be this balance in the class of both teaching the material, the content, but also teaching for understanding. And so the current format doesn't always allow for that, but I think if done correctly in similar structures, that's why a lot of our private coaching classes, AP University, we emphasize teaching the skills. In fact, we're launching a whole new tool coming up here that allows students to practice on their own with a cool AI feature we debuted last year. We're still seeing effects of the pandemic, hybrid remote learning. A lot of students had a lot of gaps, especially with their writing, with their consistency, with their congruencies in education. The learning environment was not conducive to it. Even though most of the world has moved online, it's the accountability piece. So we run a 100% remote tutoring company. Our students have been extremely successful under this model. We built it during the pandemic. But what the quality is important. Remember that schools were forced to go online in like 24 hours, come up with a system. And it wasn't one that was aligned to rigor and engagement and accountability. So those gaps are still present, and those can still affect students in high school today. And so some of the AP teaching methods are an issue as well, because again, if it is whoever is doing the work is doing the learning. So if the teacher is the primary deliverer of content, primary deliverer of lectures, if the students aren't actually doing anything with it, then the teacher's doing all the work. They're by nature doing all the learning. And so our students are just sitting and getting, and that doesn't necessarily equate to higher scores. The best lecturers don't mean if the student doesn't change behavior and doesn't actually apply what is being told to them, then they actually haven't learned anything. So those are the 7 big flaws we've seen, I think, across the board. I do want to bring a panel on at the end of the month to kind of discuss a little bit deeper about these, but let me know in the comments, does this make sense? Does this help with understanding kind of the framework and lens through which our students are in these AP courses? I will tell you that it becomes for juniors that load up on 3, 4, 5, 6 AP courses, it is extremely overwhelming. And if there is no process or system in place, when they fall behind, it's very hard to catch back up again. So let me know if that makes sense. If you guys want a copy of the guide that we debut, just type guide in the comments. We'll send it out to you along with the replay. This replay will be available on YouTube and in our page, and it should live on our Facebook group as well. Just want to thank you all for attending, and if hopefully that discussion was helpful, it's something that we will continue on as a theme all year, bringing on other people to interview as well. And if your student is struggling, or even if they're doing well but they want a little bit extra, we have created what I think is a perfect balance of tutoring and coaching through AP University. It is our all access pass to all of our group classes, all of our asynchronous resources, all of our coaching through AI, all of our one-on-one support through there as well. Currently $97 a month, which most tutoring companies charge about $100 or more an hour. So you get access to 10 hours of live instruction every week for 40 hours. You get access to the teachers on demand. You get access to all of our tools. You'll eventually get access to our test prep curriculum, which is really, really robust and solid. The process has helped hundreds of students score 4s and 5s. And inside that program, we do have college admissions counseling, which I'm just plugging tonight at 9 o'clock Eastern. We will go live to our private community inside AP University, all of the parents, families, and students there. And we will bring on a college admissions counselor as a bonus part of our program and do some questions and answering about the college admissions process, and also help students start that process depending on where they are. That is something that a lot of our families, our immigrant families, our first-gen students, college can be daunting. The admissions process can be daunting. And even though you have a 4.0, 5.0 GPA, that doesn't guarantee you anything in terms of admission into a top 25 university. There are a couple specific indicators that do, and that's something that we'll cover tonight inside AP University. In fact, our college admissions counselor tonight, Miss Nabula, is a graduate of Columbia University, but she also got in with credits and saved $65,000 in tuition by doing that. So if you'd like to join us tonight, I can send you the link. The best thing about AP University is it comes with a 7-day free trial. So you could attend for free tonight and all next week and get everything. And if you don't want to continue, you can cancel. If you want that link, let us know. But anyways, it's been a pleasure. Dr. Joe Sebastian, thank you all for joining us. We'll see you next time.